with that message.
All right, we are opening the workshop Tuesday, August 22nd at 5:07. Regarding discussion of compensation structure, do we have Lori and Jennifer?
It'll be on at 5:30.
Okay, so what do we want to discuss between now and 5:30?
Well, I want to kind of give you a little back. I want to get you, make sure you understand this. Okay. Here's the main thing. We want to stop losing our valuable and trained employees. Boris said that numerous times. Mr. Boris said that numerous times in these meetings, and that's been part of the problem. And so if we can get this idea is to get the compensation up where we're in the marketable range of what people that, Hermiston, not, and this isn't being compared to Portland. I want to make sure that's understood. These are comparisons to Hermiston's wages. Okay. And so what we do lose people. We talked to one today that I'm just like, oh, I don't want to lose this guy. And there's some things here with it. Yeah, I know you guys can't see this real well here. The thing is, when we go to do right now, because we don't have this structure, anytime we do a pay raise, we have to get that paid to everybody. That raise has to go to every single person. That's the way the law is set. But by putting this in, now we've got them into their structures, into their categories. Now they can get that if they're bumping in. Then now we're not giving that raise to everybody. Does that make sense? Okay, and so it's then that way it's adjusting on the rates based on their duties that they're doing. Okay, and the rates on that. So our goal is by 2031. We'll have all the salaries within the market value of what they should be. It's not all at once. It is increases. The way that HR answers what they came up with, their strategy. In my opinion, I'm not so much. I don't know if I'm sold on that yet. The way they jump it, the idea is to give the COLA increase plus an increase on certain stages, okay, on certain groups. Start working it up. And the way I looked at it, when I look at, we've got no one that's above range. We're not overpaying anybody. That's positive on that. In range, janitors are in range, our lifeguards are in range, our head guards are in range. Office assistant position is, some of our park maintenances are, and regularly those that are below on desk, campground aides, most of the park maintenance, the assistant coordinator, rec coordinator, front desk coordinator, and aquatics coordinator, managers, the maintenance, the rec center, and the HR. So those are the positions that are below at the range, the market value range. Okay, and the strategy that HR came up with, this is when they would make it into range with their strategy. So 2026, we'd have a bunch of these. Okay, and then 31 would be the aquatics coordinator, 27 maintenance. I'm going to talk about him for just a second. 29 the rec center, and 2031 would be the HR. So this is starred because that house, we put that as part of his compensation. So he is actually within range with that right now. Okay, his pay is not. Now, one thing that we did not, and this came up, was the taxes. That was not part of the compensation that we talked about originally, but it is. And that came up when we did always before the accountants came in and did their audit. That came up.
What taxes?
He has to pay taxes on that house because it is part of his financial package. Okay,
So if he makes $60,000 in wages, he's got to pay taxes on his
If the house is
We
being
put
20,000,
value of 20,000 on.
so he would have to pay taxes on 80,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's actually, the actual number is if I remember right, 70,000, because it's total package.
Makes sense.
That's all. He has that. So the whole idea here is so we can get people within the right range. And, you know, if you look at these are mostly our lower level people. We're trying to not have to retrain and get new ones year after year after year. Okay. So that's the big thing. And I know, I'm gonna tell you right now, like Bill, these two, and including Brad, everyone's on board on this. We want these people all taken care of before any of us.
So do we. We just have to figure out where the money's coming from.
Yep. So,
Have we reached out to Boardman to figure
I'll
out,
be here tonight.
like, if
yeah. And I didn't call him. I tried calling him earlier. I didn't get an answer, so I'm assuming he's still
I
coming.
spoke to him.
Oh, you did? Okay, so he's still coming. Good.
hey, what time's he gonna be here? 5:30?
No, he'll be here at 6 o'clock.
You guys are well important.
So when we do get into the board meeting, if we can, let's bump him up as quickly as possible.
Already got it.
Yeah. So, all right, so this is the whole idea of this, is to get those rates into that range. So I'm gonna show you that this is the aquatics coordinator. Right now, he's making that per hour, that's his yearly salary. Okay. And to get to the range, this is what he's gonna have to be making. Okay, we're talking, that's a big jump. But we're not gonna jump like that, we can't.
Exactly does an aquatics coordinator do?
The aquatics coordinator is in charge of, his position includes a bunch of certificates also. So he is the one in charge of pool chemicals. That's his big baby. Make sure that those pool chemicals are set, because if anything's off, that closes us down again. But he also does the training. So all of our lifeguards, he is trained to teach the lifeguard classes. He also does the scheduling for the lifeguards. And he also, he coordinates with any special events for the pool and such. Along with Takeo on that. And this kid, I'm telling you what, and I can use names in this meeting, right?
We're being recorded, so probably not.
Oh, I should, okay. Anyway, the aquatics coordinator, this guy's. He's a smart cookie, and he's one, to me, I told him this, I said, 10 years down the road when I retire, I could see you jumping into my spot. He's that type of kid, just that right type, we told him that. So, but, you know, he's got other dreams and such, and I'm just trying to figure out how I can make sure I keep him. You know, and he's doing his job of fulfilling his requirements. Right now, he's not actually the aquatics coordinator, he's the aquatics coordinator. What's the title?
Is it salaried?
Apprentice.
They're salaried, but their job descriptions do not fall under non-exempt. So they are technically an hourly employee, they just.
We are not paying benefits,
So
No, we
retirement?
pay benefits,
retirement benefits. We're putting 7% in on top of those wages right there?
yes.
So you want us to pay $25 an hour for that position plus 7% on top of that for benefits?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Have you checked the
If I-
7% standard? Cause I don't think it is. I don't think 7% paid by an employer is standard. It would be lower than that.
you're talking about retirement?
Yes.
well, I just know from my personal experience, my retirement. I paid 6 personally into it, and then the city matched that.
That would be 6. And a lot of other employers match whatever the employee is doing. So if the employee,
6%.
And
yeah,
then-
so if the employee's only doing
What's
4,
the
they're gonna match
right
4.
They just pay your 6.
They pay, well, they pay all 12,
What?
they put in 6 and they put in our 6 too.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's 12% at the school.
Well, maybe we need to think about that if we're gonna we're gonna cut, if we're gonna increase wages, maybe we need to cut that retirement down a little bit to help compensate for that.
Well, what's everybody else?
The whole point of doing that benefits package, I think, according to Karen, was that because that was something they felt was a good thing to have for people. And that if we're gonna increase their wages to be marketable wages, then they can have marketable benefits.
So I think that's a legit.
So is everybody five? All the people that get retirement from us, is it 5, 6, is it all over the place?
No, everyone is seven.
Everyone's at 7,
Yeah.
but right now, the only ones that have been here long enough to get it,
Oh, they get one,
you have to be here for a year.
they get
So,
7,
to get any retirement to even
Yeah.
start,
and where do you start at? What's your,
7%. But there's only 2.
Maybe that's something we could build in to,
pull it back a 40% every year as we increase the salaries?
I mean, that's something to look at, definitely. I mean, I can definitely. see that.
Health though, like health coverage on those employees or no?
The ones that are getting retirement currently are the ones,
These hourly
the ones that are,
employees.
yes, if they elect it, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
And they're paying a portion of that?
5%. We pay 95% of the employee portion only. So if they have family, they pay the difference.
Yeah. Okay, that would be normal. What other things are we offering?
That's it.
So we have health, retirement,
and again, this is after 1 year. Of employment, and this one's after.
It's, yeah, you get the health one after 30 days of employment. But that's only for the coordinators and the managers are the only positions that currently get those benefits. Everybody else does not. Right. So
What, when they figure out what we need to be competitive, is it everything or just salary?
right now,
Yeah,
sorry,
go ahead,
George,
no, go ahead, answer that, 'cause I don't know the answer to that.
right now, the only thing that they're talking about is the pay structure. They haven't even gone into the realm of benefits.
We're just thinking outside the box.
So when you guys are comparing to Hermiston, like, doesn't the city of Hermiston run their park and rec district? So they get extra funds, extra money from the city?
They're funding, they're under the city, correct? They're under city government.
So when you guys are comparing them to Hermiston,
I
don't they?
want you to be careful. I won't say, I shouldn't have said just Hermiston, okay, that was the closest city to us that they could compare to. And we'll have to ask them exactly who the such Hermiston was involved on that, that was one thing Norma asked. Earlier tonight to find out. You know, it's because they do, they have their Portland group. And then they did this because we're not part of Portland.
Oh, so they
The
have,
closest one they had was Hermiston.
what about you, Matilda?
That's a good question. I'll have to ask them that.
Oh, okay.
So, because if you look at, you know, the way we are set up, pretty unique. You know, we've got an RV camp site, we're not a special district. So we're not tied in with the city. And that's the difference between Umatilla and Hermiston, or city, right, run agencies. So,
so in the past, we've always given that 3% increase,
well,
yeah, every year. So are we still required to do that?
no, we're not required to give a COLA. No,
So if we choose a pay structure where it's an increasing pay, then we wouldn't necessarily have to do COLA.
well, I know the way they have it set up, I can tell you this, the way they got it set up. Best thing I can show you is that,
Do you want me to pull the spreadsheet
yeah, pull that spreadsheet, it'll show.
Is it one of these that was in our packet?
from a while ago? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, so. So. For this next year, you can see this, they're suggesting doing a 4% COLA for next July. And then those that are below, that are in the range, we get a 4% increase, so that's an 8% increase.
For some of them.
Yeah, to make it fit in this, okay? And you'll still have some that will be below range. Some are gonna jump into the correct in the range, right? And then the following year, we'll do, the COLA would be, they suggested doing at 3% and then a 3% for those that are below the range of that year.
So everybody's gonna get a COLA every year and we're just gonna slowly pull everybody into the.
Bit by bit, yeah. Yep. Now, those that are getting within the range, they're only gonna get COLA, they would not get the extra percentage to get them into the range. Once we get into range, then no, they're just getting the COLA.
So what happens if because of inflation, if the COLA is higher, like 6-8%? Do they take that into consideration?
They have already figured that part out. You might want to, that might be a good question to ask them tonight when they get on. What happens if the inflation does pop up higher stuff? I would definitely ask that. This is based on what they've done in their studies projecting out, and they do take in consideration from when I talked to them, that question I asked, and I do believe they do project that. So, I think you just see the following year, we'll jump forward. So 26 is 3% and a 3%, and a 3%, 3%.
So they're still giving 3% on top of the wage increase every year?
Yeah. Trying to get those people up into it, into the range. Yep. So my job is going back to your thing, getting that money.
Well, the problem is that when this part started, our area was economically suppressed. So getting workers paying not a great wage wasn't for us, those people who don't want a job. Well, now that we've created all these jobs that pay well, that's why we haven't, I mean, if you look at the turnover rate now compared to 15 years ago, there's other variables, but the number one thing is I go work on the line and make $20 an hour. And not even really have to have any customer service, I just gotta make sure the two people around me are happy, you know. We've created a real crutch for service business, that's really what we are, in a service. Because there's so many good jobs in this town. Pay more than, I mean, even 2031, we're gonna be paying $25 an hour and everybody else around gonna be paying $35 an hour. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good problem to have, though. I'd rather be in an area with a little bit of economic prosperity than the suppression.
That kind of help clarify a little better for you?
It does, it,
I mean, still doesn't take care of
along the line, huh?
it still doesn't take care of the problem. But I just want to make sure you have an understanding of how
We
it's
just
working.
we don't wanna be giving 3% increases every single year to people who have already reached their caps.
Well,
We
okay,
have to, by law.
no, no, that's the good thing about this, this takes care of that. So we don't have to pay everyone that 3%, we're just paying that extra 3% to get people into that market range. Once they're in, we do not.
I mean, you're still giving everybody the 3%
The
raise.
COLA,
Yeah.
the COLA,
That's what she's saying.
That's what,
If they're already in that average zone, she doesn't want to give them a raise. And I don't know that that would be good.
yeah, I don't think you
You
could,
would irritate people more. I think you'd have to cause more turnover.
The one thing that I think we need to look at, just not just what we've been talking about, but as you just said, we're gonna find the money. Well, we have to look at where our money is at right now and how much money we have, and this is gonna surpass budget of how it looks now in terms of where we pay for wages, correct? And so what I'm thinking is I'm processing this whole thing and trying to think about this. That means we're gonna have to take money from somewhere else that we've been putting, because we only have a certain amount of money. That's all we have.
yeah, and if we
We have a
make,
certain amount of money.
won't even have any.
Yeah, we have a certain amount of money, and then that money, whatever money we're putting in, I'll speak to it, might be the expansion, that might be like, we have to think that way, and now cutting that, and I don't know, that's a hard one. But the other thing I think about is if we don't do this, doesn't matter if we expand, we'll have anybody to work for us. Like, so it's like, we're kind of in a really tough spot here, this isn't clean, like,
Right,
and yes, I understand like that we do need to make some adjustments because I would like to keep good employees. like that are working hard and that aren't being paid what they're, need to do. I think that's really important. Sure. I guess my biggest worry is like, if we're if you guys, I've been on the board, I don't know, it's like second year, or I don't remember now. But thinking about how hard people work to get the amount of money to go into the expansion or go into this thing, I'm thinking, man, how much hard work that people do for so long. And we took 4 steps forward, now we're taking 6 steps back. Like, that isn't, it's hard. I think that's the one that for me, looking at, I know that's hard. I don't know if that's how you feel, but that's how I feel about it. And it's not to say that I don't think people don't need the increase. It's just maybe we as a board have to really think about that differently. And if it is going to be different, we have to then see what our long-term, that changes our long-term plan. Doesn't mean our plan can't be there, it just means it's a little longer.
I think we don't need to keep putting money away. I think we need to put a levy together, fund this expansion and any other capital improvements we need to go across the board. And I think in $4 or $5 million, you can take care of everything. That's not a very big bar. And if we have it all ready, going to Amazon, the new Amazons at the Power Road come on, and they're on the hook, we can sell that, and it ain't gonna cost a taxpayer a whole lot, because their $1 billion building is gonna pay for 90 cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
But we gotta fill up our campground, because we need it to continue to make money.
And I continue,
Campground. It's not, unless we raise our prices, we're not gonna generate a whole lot more revenue down here, because it's pretty much full.
So everyone,
So I think that we need to, and then we don't have to put, what we put in the bond fund, or the improvement fund last year, 250,000.
Yes.
Yes. So there's 250,000, if we don't have to keep saving for something, if we can get it paid.
finding the funds in a different way. I mean, as long as that's covered, I mean, that might be the way we have to do it. I know that's scary. And it changed because we were, our trajectory was something different, right? It's something important. So when that's I think hard. That's hard for me to look at, just knowing what you guys were doing before I came on the board. And for now, not saying it's bad, just different
it's
experience.
a different thought. Okay, so Lori is on. Hello, Lori, how are you?
Doing well, how are you?
You're doing good. So we got 4 out of the 5 board members. Now we have Luis Campos. He's in red. You want to say hi so she knows which one you are, right? And
Krista Price,
he's the board chair.
Dave Bohr,
John Christie.
And then on this side,
Brad White, maintenance director.
Hey, Villegas, Recreation Center Manager.
and then Shelby and myself. So, all right, we've already started, and I explained to them the goal here of what we want, why we're doing that, why we want to do a structure plan here. And there are a couple questions that has come up. I think the first one is Lisa's question of where the comparisons. We know you compared with Hermiston. Was there any other the Eastern Oregon towns and cities that you did this comparison with?
So Jennifer's also with us. And so I'm going to ask her to speak to that because she did the majority of this work.
Okay.
The data itself was captured from published wage surveys, and we were able to do some scoping with that data from those published surveys that allows us to find similar industries, organizations with relationship to the job descriptions, all aligned with the job descriptions that were provided as well from Shelby. So we did not go out and specifically solicit from local organizations. That wasn't the request from the organization to do. It was really just, let's get some published data because that's really where you're capturing your market, right? Your people from within the market as well.
No, not really.
And it allows to shorten your
It's-
time frame too, to get your wage data.
Okay, so we are being compared to Portland then.
Let me, while you're asking questions, let me pull it up. I pulled up the results, so bear with me.
Because that was the concern the board had, was that, we're rural. We're definitely not urban.
Right,
And
so while Jennifer's pulling that up, maybe I can share a little more about the methodology for how you use researched salary survey information. So these are salary survey vendors that are actually national. And you can cut the data. And what I mean by cut the data is they actually look at it through the lens of the dollars for cost of labor and cost of living relative to the zip code where the work is being compared. So when you say we're not urban, certainly not metropolitan, we're rural, that's being taken into account by looking at the factors in the geographic differences that are identified in the collection of all survey data. So in these results, you see something called geographic leveling. And that geographic leveling is, again, what allows us to bring it down to the zip code level to say, these are relevant dollars for these jobs in these locations.
It was to Hermiston. All the data was scoped to Hermiston.
So then you're putting in Hermiston's zip code, and so all these other data information is being used that compares to Hermiston.
Yes.
Okay. So still not small like we are, but relative to,
We are comparable in cost of living to Hermiston.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Well, and if you look at what we offer the report, we're pretty bigger than them. They don't have a rec center. They don't have a marina. They have park.
yeah.
So
So
Yeah.
that kind of clarified better for that. Right. There was another question earlier too.
I think that was Louisiana.
About the inflation?
Oh, yes. Okay. So looking at the charts and figuring out the cost of living and the amount of percentage of trying to get into the range, within the range of market, you guys take in the consideration of inflation as it could go up or down? How do you figure that part out?
Jennifer, you want me to tackle that or you got it?
Go for it, please.
Okay. So each of the surveys identifies for us the date at which the data was collected. So in other words, every survey response is told, report your data as of this date. But then we use a common compensation practice called aging. And aging does take into consideration the inflation over the period of time since that data was relevant. And all of that data, again, you'll see it in your base data results, has an aging factor to bring all of the information to a single point in time. Those aging factors are based on cost of labor and cost of living increases as projected by the Economic Research Institute. And they use the Bureau of Labor Statistics, again, back in zip code land, to tell us what the appropriate aging factors are associated with data. So yes, both geography and inflationary factors are taken into consideration as we produce the final results.
Okay, and that's with the forecasting sheet. You're considering the inflation for the forecasting sheet as what you're talking about.
It was built into the information that was utilized to build out a structure. Yes.
Okay.
So yes, it's included.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anything else? Yeah, questions that you guys come up with?
With the last board meeting, you had asked if we had to commit to this over a long period or if it could be on a year-to-year basis.
Sure,
Do you
go
still
ahead and
have
ask
that?
that. That makes sense. I remember it now, but go ahead and ask that. That makes sense.
So on your forecasted spreadsheet, you went out to 2031. Is this something that the board has to commit to and say, yes, we're gonna do this and we're gonna stick to this clear out to 2031, or can they reevaluate it on a year-by-year basis?
You can absolutely reevaluate it, and we would encourage you to do so. What we see going on with the economic situation is a little hard, even for those of us who have been doing compensation for 20 years, to project, because our economic situation is just not something we've experienced before. So we would say at least on an every 18-month cadence, you need to look in at these market results. It's something we can do for you if you ask us to, and say, are we still on course? Does that make sense? As well as, does the organization need to say, can we financially do this? Because you may come to a year and say, no, we can't afford this. We need to put a pause on it, and then figure out where you need to go from there. It is very common for an organization to achieve market alignment, especially if there's a significant difference over a number of years. And it's really something that plays out in the background for the most part, unless it's something you've chosen to be very upfront with all of your employees about, which is, our goals to get there in 5 years, or our goals to get there in 10 years, but we'll have to balance that with the economy and with our financial capabilities. That's just realistic. You guys can't bankrupt the organization by trying to move into a new comp structure.
Tell us why we should do this.
Why you should do this? Well, number one, the first piece of information that I always share about why it is that you need to do market research is so that you can be informed about your decision making. I actually have a few companies where I'm pretty sure that what they do is throw darts at the wall to figure out how to pay people. And that just doesn't have a lot of longevity when it comes to recruitment and retention. You need to be able to recruit people into your organization, and they need to be able to see their value reflected in the pay they would have gotten anywhere else for a similar job. The longevity or the steps in a pay plan are what keep people staying with you to some extent. And that can be whether you're hiring people at first step or someplace throughout the steps based on their qualification. I will tell you, for government work, it is very typical to see what we've produced for you, which is a step and grade structure. So if indeed you are hoping to bring people in from other government entities, or to bring them into what people know to be government, so in other words, meeting employees' expectations, a plan like this will make sense to them, and it is something they're more likely to say yes to. The realities are, if you're not keeping pace with market, you're not going to keep good candidates working for you or coming to you.
Question I have for recruiting and retention. What does the data show? What's most important? Wage, retirement, or insurance?
Depends on the
Or
age of the
does
person.
each-
Yeah, it really depends on the age of the person. The younger they are, the just-in-time gratification components of that are where people tend to be interested. The more age somebody has on them, the long-term incentives like retirement and health insurance tend to be more important. So for most organizations, you're going to need a balance of all of those, because your population of employees is probably going to spread across the 5 generations in the workforce right now.
Shelby, on this very first spreadsheet that you gave us, the 71,000,007.80 at the bottom, is that the difference is that the increase we would pay over year one? Okay, so it's not. I mean, we just bought a fish cleaning station for that, so it's not really as bad as it sounds. Okay, so at one point we were throwing out like 250.
It was pretty heavy, but that was if we jumped everybody like immediately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the first year, for this year, It would be 71,000. And do we have that in our budget already?
Well, so the spreadsheet that you have there had the 5% increase on it that we had already approved for this year. So next year would be where that 71,000. Okay, then we'd have to rebudget that in.
For next year.
Yeah.
Say that again?
That's for next year's budget.
Yeah, we have to do the 71 for next year's budget.
Oh. Yeah, no, okay, sorry. So 7/1 to 6/30? Isn't that the year?
That was the 5%. So it already had that calculated in that first column.
Mm-hmm.
And then where it shows 7/124, and then there should be a number down at the bottom on that one. We already did the 71,000 this year. Because we built that 5% that we.
So this
we
is
had
the one that's
budgeted.
already in the budget.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sorry, this is the one we've already implemented, correct?
Yep.
And this is across the board? All
That
employees.
5% across the board that we just did.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the
So
whole.
is the annual, are these rates right here then what people are currently being paid? For this year.
So, let's see that, so sorry. This is what they started at.
Prior
This-
to us approving it?
This is what they are at now.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
And then right here is where next year would start. Yeah, this is where they fall within their ranges. And then, so that's what we did.
So this is for this year.
Mhm.
Okay, oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Okay,
Yeah, that was
Alright.
this year. So this is the next year. So right here would be next year.
the 101.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I don't think that's as bad. That's not bad. I still would like to check into the whole 6%.
Yeah.
That's irritating me even before we got a whole new board. That just seems like a lot of money going out the door, but they knew they were paying less than other places and that's why they did it. So I wouldn't mind paying 6. I just think 7's a lot. But you can't take it away from the people that have already been offered it, right? Or can we?
No.
No.
They would be grandfathered in.
But how many people are talking there? This one's now. But anyone's with now would be good.
Yes, if you changed it.
Oh,
And it does say in their offer letters that this is the current rate, the board can adjust it from time to time.
I thought
It does say that in our letter.
It
Yeah.
says that you can
Yeah,
adjust
mine-
retirement.
Yeah,
Yeah, retirement's not set.
that one that could go down. This
Yeah,
year.
that's. the
It
only
says
one
it
I'm
in our
talking about.
handbook, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
no, I don't think this is bad. I mean, I don't think 71,000 is bad for the first year, as long as we can adjust it every year and think about it and we're not committed to this.
Yeah.
Cause if we get in trouble, then we'll have to halt it.
And utilizing this when we're doing our budget meeting to go, okay, where are we at?
Right.
How are we gonna do this? What money?
Right,
That's what my process was, I said earlier, was just like, just thinking about, might have to take money that we're allocating for something else to fit this,
right.
like. And then seeing how we collect money for other things. Like, that was a good example you said for the fishing deal, whatever that was, I mean, we got money somewhere else that wasn't the parks, we didn't have to utilize that. So, which we should, we have a lot of places here that. Would like to give us money, I think Georgia's really good at going out there. So, like you have it.
Yeah, and I'll be curious to see what Mike says about the future of,
Oh, yeah.
right,
too.
of what we would be getting
Good.
in. So we did refresh my memory again. So we were what, 250 positive as an organization?
Yes.
Okay.
I know it's been a long process, but it is very good. It is nice to be able to get more clarification. I got more clarification tonight than I felt like I had.
Good.
In the
I agree.
For me, it wasn't because it was just, it's hard, it's confusing and.
Yeah, and it
So-
made more sense this time to
Yeah.
me when I looked at it.
Yeah,
The preliminary figures we were getting really high. And they were super skippery.
But in reality, we were 500 in the positive, we dumped 250 into the world expansion. fund.
Expansion. fund.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And
really,
that's
we
where-
have 500,
When we're putting money into the other little savings, it
Yeah.
kind of skews the number a little bit.
hopefully,
Pretty
we don't
adamant
have
though,
as
we
many
gotta keep
expenses
that.
next year. on the
Keep it going in there.
It's gonna be
It's gonna happen.
not too long before we're having to repave our streets or repave anything out there that's huge.
Yep.
Yeah, so we have to still dump money in there.
Lori, got another question for you.
So at this point, going forward, what do you guys need from us and from the board?
I don't know that we actually need anything from you guys. From the realm of we've projected, all of that information, we can now write that into, because Jennifer, we did a draft of the report, essentially.
We need to do that. We still have the pay equity component to complete. So that really is kind of the last piece of this project, to balance that part out. And
Excellent.
then, yes, and then we would be writing up the administration manual report of all the findings, and provide that to you.
So does our board need to do any action tonight in our board meeting for you,
We're not going to anyway.
We can't,
in the board meeting?
not, that's, this have to be something that's on the agenda.
Yeah.
It is.
I
Alright,
got on the-
Yeah.
okay, sorry.
Yeah, but we
Is there- is there-
questions, yeah,
yeah.
we're not gonna approve.
We're not
it
ready?
tonight.
Okay.
Doesn't matter, you guys have this implemented for an entire year.
Yeah.
So why
Okay.
push it?
Well, that's why I'm making sure. If there's anything they need us to.
Oh, cool, thank you very much. Are we?
I think we're good. Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks, Lori.
Send
All
an
right,
email
thank you
if
so
more
much.
questions come up. We're happy to
Yeah.
help.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a good
Have a good
evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Who are our people right now that are pulling? Yeah, I don't want to names, I don't want to know positions, obviously he does and you do, but who else has been here long enough to get 1 year's worth of,
They go, oh, this person.
Well, he won't get it.
I will get it. Yeah.
It's me and her, I think. It's just Woody and I that are, so just a retirement.
but he will be coming on.
They will too.
You will.
Yeah. he
I'll come
will.
on too, in retirement,
In March. No, yeah, no, April,
April.
April.
I'll have to be here a year, right?
Yes.
Or I'll come on to it.
That's just the
Wait, that's-
full-time employees again, or the
Huh?
part-time have been here, like,
It's
April?
maintenance guys have been here, like,
it's
thought it
the
was like-
coordinators and
No, I'm
managers.
talking about,
oh, okay.
this budget is only gonna be April, May.
Yeah,
Yeah, April, May, June.
Yeah. yeah. But
Months.
when I budget as if all those positions are already on it.
Oh, good.
So I plan
Yeah.
for bigger than
Yeah.
what we're actually paying
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, good. Yeah, no, this is much better to look at. This one, to me, is a lot more doable in my head at least.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, we definitely want everybody up. I just want to be at the going rate for everybody, and if we're gonna increase and be up there in wages, I want our benefits to be comparable too, and not overpaying in benefits.
I agree with that.
Could we do, I know we did, what, 2 years ago, when we raised our prices, kind of called around and raised our prices. Can we call around and see what everybody else has adjusted? I'm sure everybody else has adjusted theirs up too. I just want to make sure we're charging what we should be charging. Cause we have probably bar none the best setup around. And even when we raised our prices, we weren't compared to some of those. Are we on the same page? You been thinking about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, cause I think everybody's raised their prices.
It's in the board packet.
It's a video packet.
Hey,
We're gonna hit that tonight. Cause we're on the same page.
All right, are we out? Are we done with the workshop? Any more questions on what's in the workshop? Board, no? All right, we're calling that one good, Shelby.
Mention off. I'll be right back.
Do you have any questions? Okay, do you have any questions? for me?
I wanna know what the projected increase.
Yay, we are calling the Boardman Park and Rec District Meeting to order Tuesday, August 22nd at
6:05.
6:05 PM. Let's go ahead and do roll call. So Shelby, why don't you go ahead and start
Luis Campos, Krista Price,
here?
John Christie,
Here.
David Bohr, Norma Ayala, George Scheimer,
Here.
and then we have Seiko Villegas. Are you here?
Here, sorry.
Brad White.
Here.
Mike Gorman
Yep.
with Morrow County. Thank you. All right, do we have anybody online?
We do not.
Okay, perfect. So approval of the meeting agenda, I would like to move number 10 up to a 5.5. Does anybody else have any other changes or additions? No, I need a motion to approve the meeting agenda with the change.
I'll move that we approve the meeting agenda with the change of number 10 to 5.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We passed, so we're gonna go ahead, Mike, we're gonna give you the floor, dear, so. Go ahead and tell us about this IGA that we have.
Okay, and I brought some handouts. Part of the back page, I don't know if all of you have seen the IGA that maybe those are. Then I'll give a little background of what this is all about. I'm sure you are all familiar with the Amazon data center site that's being constructed at Hearn Blyling Range Road. So back in April, Amazon approached the county about a property tax exemption called the Strategic Investment Program, SIP. We have several of those throughout the county for other types of properties. PGE's Carty gas-fired plant that was next to where the coal-fired plant was has one, and then a lot of the wind projects in South County have these. The reason you've probably heard that, like the Amazon site that's right here in the city and the ones that are out on the port, they're in an enterprise zone and they get a different type of exemption. An enterprise zone has a physical boundary, and the Bombing Range Road site was outside of that physical boundary. The boundary could have been expanded out there, but county politics at the time and didn't fit Amazon's time frame. So anyway, they approached the county about getting this SIP exemption. And there's some components of SIP exemptions that there is a taxable portion. So, and it's scalable on the amount of investment. Amazon invests a lot of money in each site, over $2 billion. So, $100 million of the property will be taxable. So and that $100 million grows at 3% a year for the life of the exemption, which is 15 years. Another component of SIP exemption is why we're here tonight, the community service fee. So statutorily, the community service fee is 25% of the exempt taxes that would have been paid each year, with a cap of 2.5 million. So and that community service fee will then gets distributed to all of the affected districts that serve that property, excluding schools. And I believe that the intent of why they exclude schools is the schools are held whole with the state funding formula. So all non-education districts, then get to choose on how they distribute this money. Um, so back in July, I can't remember the date, the county had a meeting in Oregon. Invited all the affected districts to participate, to come up with a distribution formula. And this example that I passed out, that's also attached to the IGA, was a consensus of, the districts that participated. So, the county is going to take $500,000, off the top. And then the remaining districts, and I'm also including any bonds and local options as districts as well. Then, we'll share in the remaining $2 million, at a ratio, uh, based off their tax rate. So this is an example of how much each district would get annually, once the project is operational, then for 15 years after that. So, the Park District, 156, and this may change a little bit depending on, the bonds. Because bonds rates are calculated different each year, so the percentage is gonna change, but it shouldn't be drastic. So the Boardman Park district is expected to get around $156,000 a year. And then the bond, 183,000. And that will depend on what the bond rate is every year. And the intent is for the bond money for districts to apply that towards their bond obligation and then reduce the amount they levy, like on their LB50. So all of the taxpayers get to benefit from this money. Now, there's nothing binding that forces you to do that, but that's kind of a suggested thing. And some districts do that, some don't. So if you live in the city of Boardman, you'll notice that, property taxes probably went down last year, inside the city limits. That is because, the city of Boardman used some money they got from their Amazon to offset their bond obligation, which, the bond rate went, I think, from $2 down to like 80 cents or something. So
Nice.
it's, and so, and it helps me in November too. So anyway, you had a question.
No, you answered it.
Okay.
So this is for 15 years?
Yes.
Okay,
And so I don't expect the project to be operational until 2025. So we wouldn't be receiving anything next year. It'd probably be, in late 2025. So I bill, Amazon for this. They give the money to, send the money to the county, then the county treasurer will distribute it based on the, distribution formula I create.
so we wouldn't see this until 2025?
Yeah,
Okay,
late November, December.
So the bond money, we don't have to allocate it directly to the bond. That's just what you guys recommend.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing statutory, or any other contractual, language that's binding that money be used for the bonds, but that is the intent. And I believe, I was gonna check this today, but I didn't get a chance. I think I think this is the last district that hasn't signed or got me a copy of the signed agreement.
Well, we had our meeting the next week
Yeah,
and it wasn't on our agenda, so we couldn't take
no,
action.
that's fine.
And,
We do have a timeline of, September 1st. And, per statute, not every district has to agree to this, just 75%.
oh.
And we have that
nice.
already, but, and then we have to submit this to, the Business Oregon Development Department, who then will rubber stamp it. If we don't get this in time by that September deadline, then they come up with their own distribution
yeah,
formula,
okay.
so.
Well, we should be able to approve it tonight. So he'll get that to you. Shelby will, yeah.
Well, it looks like it only needs one signature, so if you guys approve it tonight, we could have somebody sign it and give it to them.
Just for my curiosity, how do you guys come up with the formula of who gets what?
Based on each district's tax rate from the last year. So you'll see here on the rate column, that's, let's see, let me get to the park district here. So the park district's, tax rate is, 29.89 cents per thousand. So, I just add up all of the tax rates and then,
Okay.
so of the total, the park district 7.8% of the total tax rate.
Makes sense. Nope, that's fantastic. So does the 15-year start
Uh,
when?
the tax year preceding the calendar year that the facility is complete in its service. So
So 15 years from 2000.
2025, yeah, so 2040, and I hope I'm not around in the assessor's office in 2040.
Come on now. Don't be like that.
Well, I hope I'm around, just not working.
Yeah. Right.
Not dealing with community service fees.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's really great. Does the board have any questions?
No, it sounds good.
No? If he's,
And also in 2025, you'll see at least $100 million increase in your taxable value too, so.
okay, good deal. So you brought it up, I'm gonna ask. So you're thinking, man, how do I approach the subject if it's not on there? So yes, talk about that. If you don't mind.
Sure.
So the increase that we're going to be seeing.
Well,
So that is due to the completion of the
right,
project.
once the project is complete, got a certificate of occupancy and it's operational, then so if it's operational on December 31st, then it gets valued for January 1st. It's operational January 2nd,
Right,
it has to wait another year.
right.
Um,
And you
So-
said how much you think in value?
100 million,
100 million in value.
and then that 100 million will grow at 3% a year. So, in year two, it'll be 103 million.
So another 45 million over a 15-year period.
On top of what other increases there are. Mhm.
Thank you, Adam.
Okay,
Amazon gets a pretty big break.
Oh, sure.
Part of the issue is we're competing, when I say we, Morrow County, with neighboring counties who don't necessarily, to them, something is better than nothing, and they don't really negotiate very well. Um, and then we're also competing with, neighboring states that offer,
Yeah.
tax, both income and property tax incentives. So there really wasn't a lot of negotiating with Amazon, there really has been. But, you'll probably notice in the last, 7, 8 years, your assessed value has grown substantially, probably tripled,
right,
like everyone else's in the north end of the county or countywide districts.
right.
And not all of that's due to Amazon, but the lion's share is, because their original sites on Rippey Road and the original Lewis and Clark site, their exemptions are almost over. So, there's billions of dollars that's taxable there.
At one point I heard or read that the state of Oregon may limit or cut off the ability to have the CREZ fund. No, so that's not
They
true.
just,
Okay.
and legislative session was extended at least to 2032.
Oh, okay. So that's good. That's good. Okay. All right, that's good then. All right, and are you, as the assessor, do you have an idea of any other significant increases in our assessed value outside of that one facility?
Well,
Be coming on for next year would be November 2025 that we would get an increase on.
just current expiring exemptions, I send out budget estimates like in late February, early March every year. And I try not to get too
Right.
much ahead of myself. I don't necessarily like doing them at all, because I've been kind of a failure. Luckily, in the right way, I've been really low, and I'm very conservative in that regard. It's just, you know, a lot of these large properties are valued by the Department of Revenue, Oregon Department of Revenue. And so, I mean, all they do is send me, like right now, a lump sum value at the end of, so I can put it on the roll and calculate a tax from it. And I'm not sure,
Okay,
so I'm just guessing. And, after a few years, I can do some modeling. And it's taken me a while to be able to model and be confident or somewhat confident in that. So hopefully I'm getting better at my estimates, but I am conservative, so it's a lot easier to find somewhere to spend money than it is to find money somewhere that you budgeted to spend that you don't have.
right.
So
Do you remember by chance how much our projection was? Like, how much of an increase in projection did we have for what will get paid this year over last year? In
It was
taxes, tax
almost,
revenue?
it was almost 200,000 dollar difference.
Okay,
The last couple of years have been really big.
okay,
yeah,
okay. So we're still good regardless if this doesn't kick in until 2025, we're still good.
I don't see any reductions.
Okay,
You know, Amazon's not the only one building. There's lots of other processes or of people that are looking at doing things. Land Western's looking
Right.
at doing something. Um, there's
Yeah.
just a lot of things going on,
right,
which is
okay,
great.
okay. So we're right in the middle of a pay structure for our entity, and so.
That's challenging.
Yeah.
It's going to be outdated the minute you implement it. The county did one this spring and it's already outdated.
Oh. Great.
I've had two openings and we've made two offers in my department and they've been turned down because we don't pay enough.
Oh. Gotcha.
So it's challenging.
Yeah. Wonderful. All right. Does the board have any other questions for Mike?
Good.
No, I appreciate you explaining that, and I appreciate you being candor about the forecast of the assessed value. On that structure alone is significant, so that's great.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming up here. I really appreciate
No
that.
problem. My pleasure. I absolutely appreciate the opportunity and I will throw this out there. Next budget season, you want me to come, I can, in the past with other districts, I've made a little, PowerPoint presentation, kind of look at this history, and then I will do like maybe a 5-year projection, high level. If your budget committee and board members like something like that, let me know, give me a little bit of notice. And
That would be super helpful, yeah, because we're also debating on our park expansion and how to get it up there where we can do something with it, so.
I'd be more than happy. Oh,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be at budget time, it could be any time.
Okay,
Before that would be great.
yeah, before budget would be great, yeah,
Yeah.
so maybe this winter or
Awesome.
something.
Yeah.
And that goes for any district, school or
Yeah,
whatever. I've made it a goal of mine to at least do that with every district in the county before I either get recalled or retire or something.
So I would take a motion to approve, either myself or George to sign the IGA. So we can send it back with Mike.
I'm looking to approve the IGA to be signed by, George or Krista.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Bye.
Aye. Do you have a clean copy?
I have brought one with me.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And just let you know, our official name is Boardman Park and.
I know. Just lots of long names like Boardman Fire Protection District and they take up all of the cell on my spreadsheet, so I got to abbreviate. Moco School.
Has Matt reached out to you at all for school wise?
Regarding a bond.
And,
Okay.
not again symbol. We're in
The ampersand. It is the
Oh,
ampersand.
it is.
It's a symbol.
Yes.
Yes, it's a symbol.
But in the email, it's not.
We're gonna do it when I go do all of it.
You can't use it.
That's right.
Yes.
Right.
And we're at.
Yeah, look, they're gonna do it. Oh, yeah, 'cause they have to do. That's what kind of saying. They always have to do it power generating.
It's like an S, but oh well.
Let's
Make it
Always.
Yeah.
great. Wonderful. Thank you so much. We're really appreciative of that.
Oh, they're gonna break ground on that.
Yes.
They'll be open by what, 28, 27?
That's the one that's past Tower Road.
Data center.
Yeah, that they're doing out on,
Yeah, if they can get past the zone change.
oh, yeah, that's what I was looking at. My husband works for Amazon, so he's,
Well,
it's,
oh, very good.
yeah, oh, yeah, the company is requesting to rebuild or.
Thank you, everyone. It was nice.
Yeah, thank you so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You bet. Enjoy the rest of your meeting.
Thank you.
We will.
No, 17, right? We're almost done.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
That's a long.
4 buildings.
Let's rock through this.
Yeah.
First of all, somebody with great memory, that's so good to know that we were just told that we don't have, I mean, we could pay off that Bank of Yale loan if it's still in existence and if we get any money in. I think, are we due to be paid by then anyway on the financials?
By the time the
Bank of
budget
Yale
limit comes in, it'll be paid off.
Okay, then never
Yeah.
mind, but good to know.
Yeah,
I mean, we do
but
want to
then it-
reduce our,
But then it's some, we can help somewhere else. That's great.
yeah,
I like you clarified.
yeah,
If the money was needed to go somewhere else.
yeah,
At some point, that's good, because remember the last conversation we had for
Yeah.
like 5 months.
right, no, that was very good. Alrighty, so minutes of so I'm just gonna ask this, okay, and first of all, Shelby, thank you so much, and I know you guys have put hard work into this, okay? So thank you for this, the workshop. Getting all the clarification on this, working with the people. Thank you for this, because I think this is a good plan, and I like how it's come together. So my next step is here.
Buttering me up.
Yes, I am.
I can feel it.
Yes, I am.
Have to shoot you down.
So, and I'm not speaking directly to you, I'm gonna speak to George, okay? So George. Is our board secretary being overworked where she is not able to provide these sooner?
No, we will. I will take responsibility for this one.
Okay,
Okay,
it's 24 hours, it's a little,
I didn't even look.
little tough to.
no, I get it. No, we will have them out. The goal is to have them out Thursday before the weekend before. Okay,
Okay,
I will take responsibility of this.
okay.
Okay.
Alrighty, so with that being said, then, minutes of the previous board meeting, I'm not gonna lie. I might need to glance through that for a second. Unless one of you two others have read it and have any corrections or comments.
I haven't even looked at the packet.
Good for you, I'm not alone. So let's just take a sec to review that if you don't mind.
Talking all day, I'm tired.
I'm sure you are.
It's just talking.
Tuesday's your day.
I forgot to do I forgot to bring, I have them, but I forgot to bring the executive session notes, so I'll have to do that next. Meeting. Okay, I would take a motion to approve if you guys are ready.
I motion to approve, meeting minutes from previous board meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
We just proved previous thing.
all right, yeah, no changes. Um. Okay, Shelby, on financials,
Yes.
everything, so we're starting fresh.
Yep.
So,
So everything is combined, so that's why there's very few pages on financials this time, because everything is all combined.
so before you go into that, so the auditors, when I spoke to them, they said we were still one more year out on being able to combine.
They, they were for the audit, so this next year when they audit, it'll
Only
be
for the audit.
only for the audit.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're gonna be okay for reporting to us, just that she still has to do two different audits.
This year she had to. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, she confused me because she said she had to keep them separate, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, we have to go.
No, it was just for the audit because we're doing it for last fiscal year where we're still separate.
Okay, all right, gotcha. So we're still budgeting 250 by the end of the year for the park expansion and
Yes.
130 towards debt service.
Yes. And that's to cover the Bank of the loan.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, go right, we just started financials.
Okay, so we still have the two bank accounts currently, one for the rec center, one for the park. Hoping to narrow that down to one later on this year as we move forward to consolidation. Current balance in the rec center bank account is $7,613.40. Park is at $1,417.31. LGIP for the park, which is the operating kind of piggy bank, $1,772,799.45. And the rec center's LJP is at $17.24. Is there any questions?
That's okay though, right?
It
Isn't
is.
that the bond count?
No, that is
No,
the bond is the debt service one where it says rec center LJP bond, which is the 484.
that's where we put our
1,000.
money for the bond payments?
Correct.
So we're,
The other portion is the interest that we earn on
okay. Okay,
it. The other portion is
gotcha.
the interest. Yeah. Next up on pages 6 and 7, this is the statement of revenues and expenditures. This has the park and the pool combined. The one thing I want to hit on for this month is if you look at our revenue for this month, for this year compared to last year, our revenue is up. Unfortunately, so are our expenses. Capital outlay on 7 shows $23,740.68. We had to put a 25% down on the cost for the refinishing of the pool deck. And that's what that is. So there's about $20,000 that went towards that we had to pay down. The rest of that was the purchase of the Connex for storage.
Hey, as we're going through this, one thing that would be helpful for me, and it's just maybe because there's a lot of numbers here.
Yeah.
Is I know there's things that you hit every single time.
Mhm.
Do you think you could just star that? I know you can't like highlight it. If you start it, it just helps my eyes go there better. We're gonna talk about it. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
Yeah, so unfortunately, right now, for this month, we are showing a $52,174.48 loss for building.
That's not how to start the year.
I know.
Well, it's July.
It is,
It's no,
July's expensive, it's expensive now. I get that. I know 20,000, like she said, 20,000 of that was the
hold that.
full debt that we still gonna have to pay another 60.
Okay.
Roughly.
So why did we have to redo that?
safety.
Safety.
Safety issue.
Yep.
It got.
It's slippery.
It's so slick. So the whole thing's getting redone. We may, that's gonna happen in November. Okay. And we'll have to shut the pool down during that time period. But when we shut the pool down, we're gonna shut down the gym too and do the resurfacing of that at the same time. So we'll talk about all that.
Is that the one we had to contract out for that we had to commit to because they were
Yes.
that far out?
Yeah.
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 Are there any other questions on that one? Page 8 is the balance sheet. I ran this strictly for July, so it does look like we owe a lot in bills. The bills have been paid. Just putting that out there, the bills have been paid. Let's see, where is the accounts receivable? The accounts receivable that it shows is the boat dock. That's what's remaining on the boat dock loan, so that is already done and paid for and out of there. Total unearned revenue that we have between the two locations is at $242,610. And that's towards the bottom of page 8.
We'll find out from the bottom.
Yep.
Sorry.
Stars.
Stars, I'm gonna stars. I'm gonna have to do stars. Okay, page 10, 11, and 12. Now this shows our budget to actual as of last Friday. This does not have the revenue for August in it, so it is a little skewed. But it does have all of our expenses for July and August in it, so it kind of gives us a picture where we're at. If we had absolutely no revenue for August, we would be at a loss of $116,995 for the year. But again, that does not have August revenue in it.
But it does have August expenditures.
It does have August expenditures, correct?
Would we be in the black if we had August? Or would we still be in the red?
We might still be in the red, but not as
Barely.
bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and we're still going out, we're gonna go out for some grants anyways, right, for like summer recreation, we have a budget 150,000, and we'll try to get some of that, so
So
that's going to next.
We did apply, and unfortunately, we did not get them for this year. So we will have to apply for them for next year.
Yep.
So,
I'll go.
yeah,
Have we checked our sponsorship levels for the rec center and what is expiring, what isn't?
so Tillamook was the only one we had left, and they've already paid.
The 20,000.
That was the
Yeah, I
20.
saw that. Yeah.
Yep.
And the last one.
That's
I
there,
gotta go get
everybody's
that.
done.
Oh, everybody's commitment's done.
Everybody's
Yep.
commitments are done.
And what did we find out about Tillamook? Were they on a
Everybody,
term?
according to Lynn, or according to a previous bookkeeper, everything when it was going out, it was a lifetime. And if we reapproach,
Not everything.
mhm,
It was just Tillamook.
according to what she said, everything was guaranteed at a lifetime. We could reapproach, but we approach very carefully.
Is there a document of a contract that we had?
I don't have anything, and I don't think anything.
They'd be in the
So
meeting.
my,
minutes, and that's if
I
they
would
got
venture
it
to
in.
say like, cause that's just a conversation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously we'll go gentle within that, I would
Sure.
imagine, George,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And so, but at the end of the day too, if there's still contracts to that. We wanna honor those businesses as well,
Sure, sure.
and it's actually better for them to have that, it's almost nuts to me
Fortunately,
to think that they didn't have something, especially some of those businesses are huge.
unfortunately, the person that facilitated that with the consulting company, he passed away.
Hmm.
So we can't.
I could have
get that.
swore that maybe we offered the life one to or at least like a 20-year or something to Tillamook. But the other ones weren't.
That's
They-
what I originally
not
thought
that I
on
remember.
the
You,
presentation that I found.
I remember hearing the lifetime stuff. That's what I remember. But,
Only because they had their image and, I mean, their whole logo and everything was.
but everyone else did too, in the rec center, they all have images.
Wax.
With a logo.
On the
Morgan-
wall.
Yeah, Morgan Potato has it on the slide.
No, Boardman Foods has it on the
Yeah.
aerobic room, right?
You're gonna reach out to all of them?
Yeah. Good, yeah.
Yeah, and
Good.
So, that's.
your new CEO. Well, why
I
wouldn't
think AWS should be out on a big board, right at the front entrance way for about $1 million a year. They would get a parking done.
Trying, I've been trying to
Lighting
get
at the
them
rec
to,
center, by the way,
lighting in the rec center?
at the parking lot, is it good?
Yeah, I thought they redid those. Yeah, they did those last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just haven't been by there to know if they were effective. They're all right.
Cool.
Great.
Okay, so pages 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 is the checking account activity for the park.
Was this a lot of your summer help?
Yes. Yeah, that's why it's so big.
We don't charge for fantastic people.
What'd we do with audio equipment again? What was that you got?
Yeah,
No.
replaced one that had broken down. They gave us a little over $3,000 for it.
They took our old.
Yeah, they.
And then we bought them from them.
Yeah.
Did they, straight up from them, or was it new? Was it new?
Yeah,
that we
brand
bought?
new, straight from them.
And did they give us the RDO, like?
Well, we got a good price.
Like,
That's First Well, so we go through a government pricing, so we
Right.
got a really good deal on it.
Oh, yeah, you
Yeah,
talked
we
about
went
it.
from 18,000.
It's just, it's nice, that's nice to be able to. do that.
Absolutely.
Great.
And
It's
we
here
buy
or what we
another
do?
one,
No, it's here. We've been
Still,
using
they
it.
still
Is
have
it
budget
great?
for
That's awesome.
I bet.
Not bought it yet.
but we were thinking about buying one because of the additional mowing that we're gonna be doing for the city.
Correct. Correct.
So we gotta hold off and see how things play out the rest of the year. People really don't need it right now, do we?
We don't, not right this second. We would be, Brad's been busy fixing mowers lately. So we may end up having to get one really quick, but I'll talk about that in a minute.
What is dry box ink? $4,250.
Dry box.
Connex.
The Connex.
You can't see it, it's.
If you
back
can,
behind.
you look through the doorway, it's the gray, it's that dark gray black through the door.
Oh, okay.
There's a Connex back there.
Well, we bought to get some of that overflow in there.
Yeah.
Good. We needed to do.
Yeah.
Who's been signing checks?
Me.
Me.
Hey, Norman. I got you one time, but I've been trying to keep you, I won't be able to get you. I try not to get, I've been bugging him and Norma.
I just want to remind the board that if you are signing checks, make sure you look at them. Look at the invoices, know what you're signing for, I guess is what ask questions. That's what we're supposed to be doing.
I haven't been asking questions. I just been. So you
You
need
should be
to.
looking at them. That's why I'm saying that. Look at what you're signing for, make sure the invoices match up, look at what what the funds are being used for.
Stick one in for hamburgers? No.
Right? You want to spend $2,000 in hamburgers. All right. Go ahead, Shelby.
Okay, 19, 20, and 21 is the activity on for the rec account.
Does anybody have any questions? Concrete coating for 19,490, is that obviously
That's the down payment.
yeah. Superior glass, 3120.
That was I'm on the phone with Takeo.
different.
No,
Oh, that's
only,
different?
that's only.
that was the remainder of the front.
3,000.
That was the
Door.
ADA's getting
Fine,
finished.
but ADAs,
Yeah.
my bad. So,
The automatic
This was
closures,
already-
well, the left, the
Oh.
right, no, the left side was on back order.
And the second door, the
And it
interior
costs us
door.
3,000 every time we fix it.
I think we got it that time.
All right, what is Nomad Consulting?
Well, then I'll have to do that.
That was the WSI
Oh,
instructor that came to train our staff.
Good, good. All right. Well, I mean, I know it's not good, but at least we paid somebody to get it done. All right. Peloton, we're paying,
It's the subscription fee per bike that we have to pay to be.
is
able
that
to
an
put the
annual?
program.
So $4,000 a year
Yeah,
to belong to Peloton.
It's their monthly subscription, so everyone can like.
It's an
use the
annual,
bike.
not a
Yeah,
monthly.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
how's that going for usage of bikes?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, yeah, there's people on them. I'm trying to figure out a way to kind of track it.
I wondered what
You know
it'd
what I
be
mean?
like. Yeah, no, yeah.
Which I think we can.
You should be able to pull.
Yeah, I think that's what we talked about. I just.
Yeah, let's try that.
Yeah,
That's a pretty hefty fee I'd love to know if it's paying for itself or not. If not, you could negotiate with them maybe not.
I'll tell you, when I took a Finnish class one time and one time only in my life, that was the hardest class I've ever taken in my life. I was like, I'm not doing that again. Yeah. Yeah, so I can imagine if people really take it serious, it'd be a big deal.
okay, if there's no other questions on that, next up is page 22. This is the cash basis stats for the campground. So in July, we took in $70,000, 610 in cash in the campground. And we had 1,881 nights booked. 1,824 of that was in the campground, 35 was overflow, 22 was repeats.
Nice.
Why's a big price jump from last year to this year?
For the income.
Because we had a lot of cancellations and then the people turned around and rebooked. Versus last year, we didn't have as many cancellations and we didn't bring in as much cash.
$54,000 difference?
Mhm. And we had cancellations, the cancellations were tremendously high
Last year?
this
Or this
year,
year?
this year. Yeah.
But that would be before
Even
we
after
made
changing
changes.
the policy to the new one that it is now, it's still higher this month than it
And we wanna go
was.
back to that cancellation policy.
Right.
I can give you guys a raise.
Everyone is.
All right, thank you. Page 23, scans.
Page 23 is the scans for last fiscal year. Page 24 is the one so far for this fiscal year. In July this year, we had 3,745 total scans, and this is just membership scans. And last year there was only 2,741, so 1,000 scan increase, which is huge.
Are we still getting a high number of people that use or a decent number of people that use the 24-hour plus? Yeah.
But last year we had 4 days that didn't get counted.
That's because we were transferred over to.
That, yeah, and we were having issues with
Well,
that.
so it's probably
Scanner.
more like 600 more,
Hey, so,
700 maybe.
I don't know if you remember, our Scheinberg asked a question about something about the memberships last month. I don't remember my question. I just remember.
It's in the.
It should be in there.
Isn't it? I think you want to know.
Let's move that under old business or their business
Okay.
later, if you don't mind.
No, that's fine, that's fine. I wanted to know.
I'll take a motion to approve the financials as presented.
I motion to approve the financials as presented by Shelby.
I second.
All in favor?
Alright.
Aye. Last unanimous. All right, old business. Surplus and disposal of assets.
Yeah. We've got a few more extra things that we need to put out to get rid of. We just lost our refrigerator in here yesterday or this weekend sometime. So that's out in our pit. We've got a washer and a dryer from the rec center that has been replaced. What we did was we bought washer and dryers down here used in the park. And we took the set up there to be used up there. And the one the set that wasn't working up there, we took it out. So that just to get rid of. Yes, sir. I think I'm missing one more thing.
And those are just the throw away.
Those are those are disposal pieces.
Are they non-working?
Non-working.
No, just trash them,
Those ones, yeah, we can't just trash them away, you gotta go through this process.
even when they're not working?
Well, it's part of the disposal part. Like we're disposing of that. If
Yeah.
you do a sale of assets, that's where we're gonna sell them. But we still have to bring it to you guys because it's an asset.
Yeah. So,
Do we have to vote on it? So we have to vote to tell you that you can dispose of things that don't work? Okay. Fair enough. So name the things again then, so that somebody can make a proper motion.
washer, dryer, and refrigerator.
Washer, dryer,
Dishwasher is out there.
An
dishwasher,
old bolt bin. This doesn't work anymore.
a
Okay.
bolt bin,
There's an old, well, I'm not even gonna say that because I'm not sure if Jim has that just sitting there or not.
So,
so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 things.
four items right now.
So is it one individual washer, one individual dryer, right?
Correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
1 washer, 1 dryer.
No? Two.
2 of each?
Yeah, so we had set from the campground that didn't work. And that
Okay,
went to
that
the
is-
surplus pile. Then the set at the rec center that didn't work went to the surplus pile.
So 2 washers,
2
2
sets, okay.
dryers.
Yes.
That's why I wanted to clarify, so we had it right. in
So
there.
can we scrap that? After we dispose of it?
It can be scrapped. I can tell you this.
Can we though, as an organization? scrap it?
The one that was up there, I know the previous maintenance director, he went through and was scrapping out to work on the other machine. So it's just pieces, what it is already.
I mean, I'm just saying, can we put it in the trailer and take it to the scrap pile and get some bits of the metal?
Oh, that's a.
I mean, can we do that legally once we surplus it out?
As long as it goes back in general fund, I think.
And my recommendation was just paying somebody to dump it.
Yeah.
So why don't you make a motion and just say if it can be, then he's authorized to do that.
Well, I'll move that we surplus and dispose of the assets as listed tonight. And if we can, after we dispose of them, if we can take them and get a couple bones out, a couple dollars. By unsweetened tea. That's not my motion, but.
Do I have a second? Okay, thank you, Luis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
But
Passed unanimously. District policy updates.
Okay, we talked about the compensation structure already.
So let's stop right there and use this to help. The notes that, so. All right, so each year our compensation is, I don't know, under around 100 grand or less. Give or take, oh, okay, maybe 114, 110, 119. So Mike said that this money here, the 156 and the 183, that would not begin until 2025. So November of 25 is when we'll get it, so we won't see it for another 2 years. Okay, or 2 pay periods. And then he did say though, at the same time, in addition to this, in 2025, expected 100 million in assessed value to come onto the tax rolls as well from that same facility.
every year, or just.
No, and then it would be a 3% increase on top of that every year for 15 years. So, we may have to, like, if we implement this, we would be coming up with what year would be in, so we have to come up with 100 and,
Yeah, it'd be the fiscal year 25, 26.
Almost have a bond passed then.
So we'd have to come up with 100 grand for next year.
Why
And
do
then
you
the
say-
following year be compensated by the.
You wanna be the first person to pass a bomb when the one, that first Amazon comes along. Because everybody's gonna try to pass a bomb.
I
Um,
just gotta beat Mike, that's all I care about.
so, and Norma, Norma read the materials and she wasn't able to make it tonight, but, I told her I would read what she wrote and she said, she's not in favor of the new compensation structure as we do not live in a big city like we are being compared to. This is still a small town and we have wages going up all the time. So
Keeping
she,
it appropriate.
huh?
I thought you're keeping it appropriate.
Oh, no, those are the words. She said that was just her opinion. So,
And when I talked to her, she said she sent that to you to read, and she was telling me that she was under the impression this was being compared to.
correct, yeah,
And so we got
Right.
that clarified.
Right.
On that, so and she's gonna watch the video tomorrow. I told her we record it so she could watch it tomorrow
right,
and look at it, so.
yeah. Yeah, so, I guess my question to you then, because it's on the agenda, so what, we're talking about one thing here, the discussion of the compensation structure. So what are the next steps then? What did we take from them, that we, as the board, are going to give you a yay or nay by a certain time frame? Because you've already implemented a certain
5%
increase,
from the first one,
right,
yeah.
for this year. So what's your goal? What do you want from us? Past this initial year.
I wanna make sure we go for, I wanna go for the next step. For me, my goal is to get the funds, whether it be through, us structuring our budget. So we can do that 8% to get that first step into this. So, and that amount, if you look at the second year, that 8% is 114,000, I think. it was. 101.
The year after.
Next year, okay, so the 101,000, I've got to come up with that.
Oddly enough, there's a 97 in there between and then it's 114. Yeah,
So that's my goal, is to do that. And so.
okay, so we can take this on an annual basis.
Yeah.
So for now, we're okay? Are you telling me we're okay for now?
So yes, that's a
Okay.
yes.
Okay,
I'll get $500,000
so,
if we just make what we made last year.
Correct.
I mean. We'll know at the end of this year, well, how much we can put in the expansion fund, how much we had left over kind of deal.
I know this, my experience this year, in these 2 months, as in, we want to make sure that we know what we're gonna spend before we overspend in one of the budget.
right, okay. All right,
My thoughts are, I mean, we just have to pay more, and again, like I said earlier. We're bigger than Hermiston. But preparing us to the Hermiston part, like job, from our standpoint, they didn't have some of the jobs we have. You know what I mean? And I've seen the turnover, and I'm tired of it. But I understand why it happened. I mean, we're the little fish because we can't compete with all these companies because they're making so much money here.
Yeah.
And they know they have to compete with each other and they're all private. They're willing to pay some of their profit. Well, we're not a profit kind of agency and you would like to be, but. And so.
okay. Paid leave Oregon policy is next. What do we want to talk about on this miserable plan?
This is the fun, this is throughout the state, and I'm gonna let Shelby take over on this because it's still, the state is still trying to clarify things.
Yeah, it's garbage.
It
So
is.
what do we have, what are we
We
discussing?
needed to have a policy. So this is the policy, you go ahead, I mean, she's done some great work on this.
So because this program has gone into effect or will go into effect on September 3rd, we have to have a policy as an organization saying that we have this insurance, that we're going through the state for it. And we have to notify the employees of all the things that are in this policy.
And who provided the template for you?
It came from HR Answers, and then I also used some language from the county, from their policy as well.
Okay.
Now, when we tax them,
Mhm.
the 0.006,
Yes,
do we take that out of their payroll and just send it to the state?
Yeah.
Because my understanding on this, is the state's the one on the hook for this.
They
We just give them our
Yeah.
0.006, and when they have a shortfall at the end of the year, it's on them, not us.
yes, that
Correct.
is correct.
So, you know what, I think this is an amazingly poor deal. But no,
That was my next question is, do we have a say so? I mean, what is there anything concerning in here? What? Because we just got this,
I know,
sorry,
yeah, I know.
less, a day ago. So what, is there anything we should be concerned about? Or if this is standard practice for procedure for SDAO, then
This is just, it's basically got all the language that is already included in the paid leave Oregon program. The only thing that we have added in here is that we are making it when somebody goes on paid leave, that we're having them run it concurrent with FMLA and OFLA if they are eligible for those, and that is so that if they go on paid leave and we don't, they can come back and go, oh, I want to go on FMLA and OFLA and take an additional 12 weeks.
okay, so it runs concurrent.
So we are making it so it runs concurrently.
Okay,
With that, we had to change some of our language in our FMLA and OFLA policies, which is, you'll see on page 29. It just talks about that we cannot make it to where they have to use their paid time off, like their sick leave or vacation time, when they go on this for paid leave Oregon. That is a law that we cannot force them to use that.
can you repeat that last sentence?
So when we make OFLA and FMLA run concurrent with paid leave Oregon, we cannot make an employee use their sick time or vacation
Oh,
time.
correct.
Okay. Previously, our FMLA and OFLA policies required that.
Oh,
So we have to redo that a little bit, and that's why on page 29, I added that in to update that
And you can
language.
see the changes she put in, she marked out.
Okay.
So I have a question.
Mhm.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The FMLA, are we required to have that one? I know we're OFMLA. We're required to have them, but if you have more than 50 employees, you do not need the FMLA, is that correct?
Because we are a government entity, we have to do FMLA as well.
But I think we got rid of that city, us. We're a union, I don't know how
Yeah.
they do it, but I think we got rid of that and we just kept the OFMLA.
So we have FMLA.
They're very similar and we run them concurrent.
Okay,
So,
I was curious.
yeah.
okay, so you would like a motion then to approve?
Yes. Yeah.
okay, so I would motion that we, accept paid leave Oregon policy change to what calculations and sick leave accrual policy as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye. Passed.
I'd laugh every time, right?
Yes. I can get paid for being stopped. This is awesome. All right.
Yeah, it's already, that was already in the FMLA.
You'd be paid for what?
If I'm stopped. If I'm a survivor of being stopped,
Well, if you-
Right. right? Stalk each other. All right.
Well,
Yeah, they don't consider children stalking apparently, like
Guess not.
they get rid of our children. All right, so change to work comp calculation.
So that was part of the sick leave thing.
Okay, sorry, there's a comment in there.
This is all together here.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. So so 30 is part of the other part?
Yeah,
No, 30 is not.
no, 30 is not, 30 is separate.
Okay, so change to work comp calculation, that's not even something we're doing.
It's,
It's in the sick leave.
it's because of
paid.
the sick leave.
Yeah.
You wanna explain that? You want me to?
I'll start and you pick up where I
Okay.
go off. Okay, so, sick leave, workman's comp. Okay, so, this, okay, number one, the calculating of it, is crazy. When, I can tell you, when Shelby has to calculate it, right now, she has to go through manually to figure it out, and it's just like, this is silly. So you can see how it's set up on the current rate. So for every hour, that's every 30 hours, they get 1 hour sick hour. Okay, well, we're not really set up on a 30 hours, so she has to go back and look at their hours and calculate it out. Okay, so we worked out a schedule here, trying to make it a little simpler. Okay, now the downside is, and this could work out better with our pay structure, when we're talking about working this in. If you look at it, it's 0 to 15 hours, a half hour, and then 15.1 to 30 hours is 1 hour. And then your hours it just accumulates by a half an hour for basically every 15 hours of work to get their sick leave approved. Now,
So what are we looking at for a full-time employee? 40 hours average. What are they getting a year?
hours work?
No, sick leave. My
Yeah.
calculator's not coming up.
Full-time employee is 80 hours a year,
Right.
so divide that by 30.
So a 40-hour person takes 6 weeks to get 9 hours. Is that what I'm calculating? So somebody that works 40 hours, approximately 30 to 45 hours a week, about 1.5 hours, it takes 6 weeks to get 9 hours. Of
3 pay period.
accrued sick leave occurred.
How many days off are we giving our employees if they work full-time? A year.
Only the coordinators and the managers get vacation, so none of the other positions get vacation.
No, I'm talking,
Even if
did I
they're
misstate something? Sorry.
full-time employees.
Yeah.
So we do have employees that are full-time that don't fall in those positions to get time off
Why is that?
because of the way our current benefit structure is.
The sick leave is to everyone, is it not?
Correct.
Right.
You asked for time off. Sorry.
Did I?
Yeah.
I meant sick leave.
Well, but they could be
How
sick.
many days of sick leave does a full-time employee get off a year?
If
Cause
they work,
I come up with like 8 on
6
one
hours
and 9
a
on
month,
another.
right?
if they work the full year, they could accrue up to 69.33, but we have a yearly cap of 40 hours.
Okay.
Okay, that was, and
So
where is that stated in here?
That's right,
the
very
current
top.
one, yep, at the top.
Top.
So somebody who's been here for
Where's
0
that
to
under
5
the
years.
proposed? Where is it say that you have a 40-hour cap?
Very top,
Very top, it's under the top one.
0 to 5 years, you get 40 hours.
But under the proposed one, where does it say that?
I bet you it doesn't.
It
I bet you
doesn't.
we'll have to put it in there then.
It says there's no lifetime cap. When unused sick leave carries over, we don't pay it out to people when they terminate. Which we don't pay it out as it is now.
But if it went here for 20 years and got cancer or had heart attack, they would be taken care of.
Mhm.
They don't have enough sick leave to deal with them.
And with the way paid leave Oregon is set up, they can use that to offset
That's gonna
the
be, yeah.
portion that they don't get paid.
Well, most of our candidates are gonna get 100% reimbursement on paid holiday leave. Is anybody under 68,000 gets 100%?
That's as of right now, but if you guys put that pay structure in for next year, people are gonna start going.
There'll be a few,
Yeah.
you know, we're talking 80% of our people are gonna fall below that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna bet that the state of Oregon will change that number every year. Depending on how much money they lose this year.
Mm-hmm.
So what, I'm sorry, what's wrong if there's? So are we not putting caps or are we putting caps? Cause what was wrong with what's up here? What's wrong with 5 days a year for 0 to 5 year employee? What's wrong with that? Like, why are we giving them more, but then you're saying we're gonna cap them? Like, what's the point of? So are we not gonna cap them? Cause if you don't cap them, then down here, they're getting like 9 days off or 8 days off.
So are you saying that you're making this easier just so it's a standard through and her, instead of her going back and figuring out they work 30 hours, figuring out how much she has to give them, it's just a standard for everybody?
Standard for everybody. Yep.
But you don't
But-
wanna do if you work here a year, then you get 5 days automatically? How's that not easy?
Because
So
it's
you're
not-
saying
because
they're
it's not
entitled
true,
to sick leave if they're.
But they have
hourly.
to earn it still.
Yeah, they have to earn it.
Yeah,
They're not, they don't automatically get it.
So
yeah.
you're just saying you have to calculate hourly, not just in a year,
Correct.
and you're doing it hourly.
So we still need our
The
caps.
the main reason why we're looking at changing this is because it ties in with the fact that we're having to track the salaried employees' hours, which
Right.
is then changing
Right.
the amount of our work comp rate.
Right,
Because if you track employees' hours, then you have, the work comp goes up and down. And a
right.
salaried employee is technically penalized then for working more hours than than their normal 40 hours. But if we don't track those hours, then we have no way of,
Does our system not have the ability to track sick time
the
based on
time card
hourly?
system does, but it doesn't calculate it correctly because it calculates per pay period instead of based on that 30 hours. It'll only calculate it based on the pay period. It does some funky stuff. So I have to go in and manually calculate every single time card, every pay period.
Could,
Okay.
so we can't just adjust it where it's based on a pay period instead of based on hourly?
Well, then we'd have to determine what the level is then. And it has to be either equivalent to the 1 hour every 30
Okay.
hours.
So number one, what time is it? 7:14. So I will say this proposal doesn't work because it gives them more than what we are even putting up here. So they still need a cap.
Still want it back.
So this needs to go back to the drawing board a little bit. That's in my opinion. Board members, we're not gonna spend too much time on this because we didn't get this
Right.
with enough time to even think about it, so.
I disagree with her. Sick leave, I don't mind giving them more, because things happen. We would think there has to be a cap, but giving them more, I don't think it's wrong. That's my opinion.
Haven, Don?
Well, with the paid Oregon leave. Anybody that needs to be gone for substantial amount of time is gonna use that.
And I disagree with you only because we're not telling these people they have to use it by the end of the year. This is stuff they get to carry over,
Yeah.
and that could accrue.
Yeah, but we're never paying it out, so,
but you could put a
yeah.
cap.
I mean, if they leave us, they lose it.
Yeah.
And I look at it, like I said earlier, if you've been here for 20 years. And then you have a catastrophic event, you take your paid Oregon leave for 3 months, if you gotta supplement your income, cause. If you earn 80,000, if you make 80,000, you only get 80% of your wages, you can supplement it with your sick leave. Kind of deal, does that make sense, Krista?
This says that we may request medical verification, so it doesn't mean that they're gonna lose it if they quit. They could pretend to be sick for an entire month if they wanted to.
I don't
At that point, then they'd have to go on OFLA or FMLA, and we would then have. to
If
get
they
the-
have accrued sick time,
If
Anything over what? 4
anything
days?
over
Fourth
on
day.
the fourth day, it automatically goes into FMLA and sick leave or OFLA. We don't have to make them use their sick time for that because of Pay Leave Oregon. But it all ties in together and it's kind of a,
what's
Messed
the
up
point of
web.
having it accrue then? Like what, I guess I'm lost on what, if somebody works here for 20 years and they have 6 months worth of sick leave saved up, you're saying they can't get paid for that 6 months?
not when they leave. We don't have to pay it out. The only thing.
But if they're sick, if they call in and tell you,
on that
I'm gonna
fourth
have
day,
surgery, then I got sick
Well,
with the flu, then
at
I
that
got
point, then
COVID,
you're
then I
going
got sick.
into a whole different leave.
Yeah, for if they take, they can't take it consecutive at all. Like so after 4 days, they can't take consecutive leave, like sick days. Nobody can, like.
Could you be sick for 4 days every single week?
Yeah,
Okay,
but that's not just here, that's all over the
Everywhere.
place.
right,
So an example, let's just say hypothetically in my business, maybe somebody on their last year of teacher, they might not come to any Fridays ever because they're sick.
please,
Or they go, you know what, this Monday's rough. This
yeah,
Monday's rough, I got a headache.
right.
I'm not gonna come. Hypothetically, that happens.
Thanks for the
Right.
seed.
We-
I'm getting close. Okay, so here's how I look at it. People gonna abuse this, yes, but if I get you to work here for 20 years,
Mhm.
and I don't have to waste time training anybody to do your job. Probably money ahead if you figure in the interest and inflation and everything. I want people to work here for 20 years, cause then,
What's it hurt whether we cap it or we don't then, if they can't use more than 4 days at a time anyway? What's the point?
of having a cap,
Yeah.
But what's the point of not having cats?
Yeah, what's the point of not having?
I
it?
think the point of having a cap is that if what you said, they use every Friday they miss, they'll run out of their sick leave. So if they have no sick time, they call in Friday today just for one day, they're not getting paid. That's the purpose of having a cap. Cause we have a cap at our job for, actually, we don't have a cap.
No,
Hey.
the only way that they wouldn't get paid is if
If
they
they ran out.
completely ran out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you put a cap, so they don't keep accruing more hours.
But
So they'll
the
waste them.
cap stops them from accruing. But once they drop below that, they can accrue again up to that cap.
Correct.
That's what that cap does. It doesn't say that, oh, once you hit here and you have to use it all and then.
Yeah,
no.
but.
Once
but
you go below, you can accrue
You can
again.
accrue more, but you can't miss 2 days. You might be able to get paid one day, but you can't get paid the second because you're out of hours. You already used them because you ran out.
Yeah, well, that's part of that management of your own sick leave, I guess. in terms of
Yeah.
that. So,
Right.
well, I'll say a lot of businesses that I do know, they don't let anybody even transfer over anything. So
Correct,
like they can't transfer over anything. Some businesses do, you use it or lose it, or you can only transfer this much, a certain
Yeah.
amount.
Yeah.
And so, again, those are people that if they're gonna work here 20 years, our hope is, and I'm, again, hypothetical, 20 some years, is that they've done a good job of managing their own sick leave. That's their responsibility to do that. Now, life happens, and they may have to use it early or whatever, but they're gonna be on something else. They'll be on FMLA or something if it's a bigger thing. So they're not gonna use, if you have 10 years of sick leave, which is a lot of time, and you haven't used it, and all of a sudden something big happens, you have FMLA and you have organ, so you have something else that's gonna be there. That's not gonna go away.
don't they get paid? You keep saying FLMA,
Well,
Unpaid leave.
it's
yeah,
FMLA,
but they get paid.
but for the Oregon part, yes, you can get
If
paid.
they,
Yeah, if they
yes.
qualify for that. What I'm saying is like, then they're not, they can supplement, the thing is they can supplement, as Dave said, by using sick leave on top of that to do it. So if they only get paid
Right.
80%, they can use 20% of that, so you use so much each day
Mhm.
or so many hours.
I'm just saying, if somebody works here for 20 years and they get cancer, because it happens all the time.
Mhm.
We want them to be able to take all their sick leave. We want them to use that. That they accrued it,
Agreed?
but if we don't have a cap, that's just paying that many more days of,
That they'll gather.
yeah. They do use it. They get paid eventually. If they get hit with cancer and they're out, they will
6
get
months.
paid for that time. If there's no cap. So that's why I'm saying, I think,
Okay, so
anyway.
I guess what I need from you is if we wanna have a cap, number one, and number two. An accrual. They cap out of how much they can accrue during the year, but can it carry over? That's what I need.
What do we have right now? This? No.
Right now,
Right now, it does,
it's got a
it does
cap,
roll. And it does have a cap.
okay?
Oh, sorry.
And the cap, and it increases each year, or increases for years of service.
Yes.
But accrual has, even though the other policy, accrual have a sick leave, shall have no lifetime cap. Any unused sick leave shall carry over year to year. So right now we already have that.
No, that's in the proposed one.
No, that's in your
That's in
current.
this one right here, the lifetime cap, and any unused sick leave shelter.
The lifetime cap, correct?
And the new.
But
one,
there's a
we put-
yearly cap though of what they can accrue.
Yes, and down below, there's no annual cap. Is there?
Oh,
So that's the difference right here.
Yes.
So that's where I need to make it work better.
Yes,
Okay,
well, in my
I will-
opinion, he didn't agree.
well,
These two need to chime in on what they think. That was my
and
opinion.
I think I'm gonna agree with Krista on that piece. I'm gonna agree with that.
And then-
I come from a place that I don't get to move anything, like, I can't move everything over each year. I mean, I get to move my Oregon sick leave and all that stuff, it gets to go over because it has to, but I don't have everything else, everything else goes away, so.
I think it's generous that we're even letting it accrue on a lifetime basis. She has to keep that on the books forever.
Well, the people we have that have been here more than 10 years,
Any more?
3.
3,
so we're really, I mean,
and they're seasonal.
yeah. I mean, that's proof in the pudding that we're not retaining people.
Mhm.
So if you're here for 20 years and you got, like me, when I'm done school teaching, I'll have over 1,000 hours. If I want to take a Monday off, well, just let me take a Monday off. John Christie just planted that seed in my head. But it's like, you know what? You reward people that have worked their butts off for you. And if that's how it happens,
mental health.
I mean, no different than in the private sector, you get a bonus. I don't get no bonus. My bonus is maybe I get to take Monday off my last year of teaching.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just different, and then it's a different mindset. We're all public workers, you're private sector workers, so you're probably never gonna get all of us on the same exact page because we come from a different mindset, and there's nothing wrong with it.
We don't even live, our company doesn't, it's a mental health day. It is not technically sick leave. It is a mental health day.
No, we have,
you don't
what,
have to be
3
sick.
different ones?
You can go get your hair done and your.
I got Oregon leave, I got regular school district leave, I got personal leave, I don't have
Okay,
vacation.
I wanna clarify this. Okay, this is the thing that is coming on, that I've learned. This is the hours they work, not the hours they're scheduled to work. This is the actual hours they work. So if someone's working late hours, come in extra time, all that time counts toward these 30 hours.
That's what I said. I think we need a cap.
Okay.
'Cause you're letting it accrue lifetime then, and
Okay.
instead of lose it or use it or
Because
lose
like,
it.
because here, this, I did not understand this when I came on, going, how's this working? Because here's, and Shelby's already stated this, but I want to restate this because this came up in our managers meeting last week. When the people that are these three right here, when they are going through, they're getting dinged working extra hours
Right,
by the workman's comp. They get taxed, workman's comp on this, and it comes out of their paycheck. Working hours, and because we track their hours. If we didn't track their hours and they just put in their 40 hours, then they'd be taxed on the 40 hours they work. Everyone understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, because we track their hours, their workman's comp is taking more money out of their paycheck.
We're tracking our hours.
Well, I would do that if I have your consent on
But
it,
everybody, these guys are all salary, right?
correct?
My
That's
question
the
is-
why were we doing that?
Exactly, that's,
Oh,
Because of the
get
sick
it.
leave policy.
yeah.
It's based on
Oh,
accrual
so
of
you want-
hours.
So you
But
have
can't
to,
they call it a 40 hour? We can't call salary 40 hour? For the purpose of sick leave? Oh,
No,
because you want it to be able to accrue
it's
more because it's a
different.
lifetime thing. Yeah, no, I got you.
So
Yeah.
salary employees clock in and clock out.
Well, that's the,
These three do.
and you get to roll over these days. Like you have a choice. You can either use it or lose it, or if you want to keep track of it, then you're gonna pay the extra workman's comp.
Yeah.
Most companies don't let you roll, so I don't.
Oh, no, I've never used sick leave, so.
That's what we we're looking at this all wrong. Maybe we need to look at it and incentivize people that show up every day. Because we, Mr. Keeper, Mayor Keeper and I, when on morning walk, we talk about this all the time in school district. And we are befuddled why the district level people don't understand. They would be better off if they give incentivization like personal days. How many people take personal days now because they pay out personal days, and it's a pretty good chunk of change at the end of the year. It probably cut personal days way in half. So what do people do now? They just say, "Oh, I got a headache, whatever." So let's incentivize that. If you maybe do it on a monthly basis, if you have perfect attendance, if you've worked all your shifts, you get a little bonus. So
Okay,
Okay,
First
so
of
we're
all-
gonna work on this.
yes, and I wholeheartedly. I don't care if somebody's sick. We did a big old friggin' paragraph here about people being sick. Who cares?
That's just saying what they can call in for, what it is. That's all it is.
Why do
It's
we care?
Because it's the law. This is
We're doing
literally
away
the
with mental health days. How, who's to say
Because-
what's sick?
mental health is part of sick leave.
Okay, that's what I mean. Like where does it say that in here that you can even take a mental health day?
On the first
It
bullet,
says treatment of mental, but you're not. Treatment means you're
Or
seeking
ex-
help.
Or
What if you just need a
experiencing,
help day because you need some downtime because the people and your employees ticked you off the day before and you're gonna murder them?
then you're experiencing a mental illness.
Oh, it's because of the preventative medical care, so you're just doing preventative maintenance, right? Is that what, that's how?
Mhm.
what
care for
we're-
yourself or your family member with a mental or physical illness. I
So getting your hair done is a preventative medical care?
could you not tell me it's not?
I'm just saying, why do we have to?
When I get my toes done, I'm telling you what, that's some of the best relief in my whole body.
No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. Why do we have to define it? Do we have to define it?
I think. you
We
put
should,
it out.
if
Do
we,
we?
if we
I-
don't put it out there, we have to at least say that we are following the Oregon sick leave laws.
Okay,
That's what we're doing, like.
I would just assume people take their days, like they need to. If we're working, if you guys are working 55 hours a week, then that's too much. Somebody needs to take off some time. I'm just saying, you're gonna go nuts and you're gonna start hating your job, like I said, so.
so maybe I didn't explain myself. I do agree on a cap, but I don't have anything about increasing sick leave. That's my opinion. That's what I was trying to say.
So what if we did the sick leave at the beginning? That was another option that came. We just give them their days from the get-go.
Pay them for it?
Not pay them, just they have those sick days from the get-go, no matter what.
I would do that for anybody after 1 year. I would do it for
For
retired.
the first year. No, I agree with that.
Because of like circumstances we're having, whereas we're, no.
So when people are sick, do we hire subs or have people come in with your, everybody pick up slack?
Right now, I can tell you, no, I can, from experience with what we've had lately, the staff has stepped up like
Yeah.
big time. I'm amazed at how well our staff has picked up the slack. Really appreciate that. I told them that today at our training.
How many year-round employees do we have?
Average 35.
Which one? Right.
She wants a coconut. You like,
I want,
you like coconut?
so yes, please work on this. Sorry.
No, that's good.
Back to our agenda.
Okay.
Are you guys okay with us moving on past that?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you.
Got up to 4:15.
District reports, George, make it quick.
Yes. You get to, it's all together there. My big thing is, we did get the city contract signed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's been a while, so we're gonna miss out on 1 month of the big pay. Of the new contract, but it's for August invoice, we will start getting. That bigger check. So, anything else besides that, cancellation, okay, we were talking about this earlier, the cancellation fees for Heartbeat Park. Even we're making more money, we made more money last year than we did the month before. So we have no complaints. We have not got one complaint about the cancellation fee. Knock on the wood, knock on wood. Well, I am, but the big thing is. We haven't been getting many complaints at all. The worst complaint I've been getting lately has been, well, sprinklers been one lately, but the goat heads, because they're popping up like crazy all over town. And they're complaining about over town, and I'm telling you, my guys are working hard. Brad's guys, everybody's working hard picking goat heads wherever we see them. So, I just can't tell you how hard people are working here. Bilingual basketball camp, clinic went well. Umatilla Waterpalooza, we got great reviews on that from Umatilla, the city of Umatilla. Grants, I'm filling out more grants. Like we talked about tonight, I'll be starting up the sponsors for the rec center again. Blast music in the park. And those were good, and I especially liked it when we had the farmers market come down. They're still going, farmers market's still going down on Mondays. Not a lot of vendors right now, but it's just the way it is.
Do they wanna do that, continue that? Why they move away from Shade Center?
Well, the vendors
We were-
wanted it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were competing at times, right? Because we have the
Yes.
park and they had
The park said that.
So you think this will be going forward?
Well,
I hope
they're gonna
so.
try for the rest of this year. They did half year up there and half year here, and they're gonna go back and they're gonna reassess. There's only one other place I would say that would be better, but the city would charge them to have it at that spot.
What is that?
Right there at Front Street, on the grass, where they use the yard sale. But that's their choice. I've told them, I will accommodate you guys however you want. We will do that. Just note that. Put us down as a sponsor. That's my biggest pet peeve right now. If people are coming down to use our facility, we better be noted as a sponsor on their forums, and I'm having a hard time with that with the team right now. We're not listed as a sponsor for this Friday's event.
What time does it start, by the way? That was 6:30?
6:30 on Friday.
You doing soccer?
We did, I know last year we had a big issue with the walleye tournament. It went over, we made kudo points.
Yeah, I had a couple of different people that I know. They said this was like a million times better.
Oh,
They
yeah.
really enjoyed it, and that they're excited that
Brad,
they were
the fellas,
because they were concerned because some of them have done it for a long time here, and they were frustrated in all parts, but they didn't want to move it. So they're excited that it was here. It was they appreciated it.
I mean, I don't know how many guys, when I went down there, when they're doing their opening registration, they said this is their favorite venue to come to. And so that the chance of losing this,
Did somebody turn off that pedestal on purpose, the power to the pedestal that's nearest the boat docks?
pedestal.
No, supposedly the pedestal wasn't working when they were here. They couldn't plug in, use their sound speaker.
Oh, that's the first time
That's
hearing.
the first time I've heard of any of that. We didn't have any problems. Their scales turned on,
Yeah, their stuff was all working. Yeah,
I didn't hear about that.
because we came down and everything.
yeah,
We were there with them.
I'll have to ask.
Yeah.
I'd be curious about that because if we have a dead plug down there, it'd be.
There is a pole that has there is a dead one, but they weren't using that, but they had power. They did. So, yeah, I know there is a dead power plug in. We tested.
See though.
It is,
Yes.
it is UECs.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we
Well,
put in a new
that's the thing,
water
in
line.
case.
No, that's the one they're
Note that,
talking about.
UECs.
Oh,
There is, we put in a new water line for them. so they can get fresh water up into their, pits and everything for the fish holes.
What do you mean by saying it's UECs?
It's their power pole that is there, that they run that off of. So I've got to get hold of UEC to come check that power line. Cause it's their light pole and everything. It's not ours.
It's not charged to us?
No, no.
Oh, well, I know the correct person to ask.
Yeah, it would be nice, wouldn't it?
He's the one who told me that it wasn't working. But thinking it was yours.
Oh, it's theirs.
That's funny.
That's,
Okay.
yeah. We had we had 72, Monroe County School District students that were in the Jumpstart program. They come down and originally this is right after we had the swim instructors go through their classes. And so, these are Woody River, age students. And we originally were going to do swim lessons, and it was just, I mean, literally the next week, we weren't ready to do swim lessons yet. So we switched it to swim skills for them, and they had swimming time. They got swim skills, they got some survival skills with it. I mean, it wasn't a waste of time. The school district was appreciative, and it was good.
They pay for that, or is it?
The school district did, yes, and they paid our new. Yeah, they've paid, it's all been taken care of, so. We are getting ready for the swim lessons at this. I told them get things organized before we start advertising. I want to make sure we're all lined up, ready to go before we even start to advertise. So, we had the audit. And you can see there, we've already fixed the problem, the problem they found, and that was for me. We don't get a written, financial statement. Bank statement. It's all online. So, it's me getting into the password to be able to look at it. Instead of, what they wanted is not having her sending me a copy.
Right.
Right.
So we fixed that by me getting my own password, to be able to look at it directly. So
No, it's an email.
it's being emailed, that's what it is. That's because I don't want a password to get into the account. Like, cause I'm a signer.
Banner is securely sending you an email?
They are sending me the email directly. Not to her to me. It's skipping her.
Right.
That's what we wanted. And that's how we fixed it. Mindy, who's the head auditor, I just reading that last line, she couldn't praise Shelby enough for the changes, the adoptions, all the things that make better our processing.
That's what she told me too.
Yeah, very,
She said you did a great job.
you know, so.
And then she brought up the statements as well, that you guys were gonna fix that.
Yeah.
And then something about receipts. There was only one that wasn't accounted for, but
There's actually 2 receipts that weren't accounted for in that batch. They don't go through every one. They just pick a random selection. And it was a year ago. And it would be the one that there was 2 receipts that weren't turned in when,
57 in that batch.
yeah. And so. mm,
so is she gonna make note of that? Will it,
It-
No,
it-
it's
it's not.
literally just telling us.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, it doesn't go in.
I didn't know it was gonna hit
Yeah,
our.
the only one that goes in the report, the only one was the one about
Yeah.
the statement, bank
Okay.
statement.
They're removing the one that has been on there for years.
Yeah, she
with the
told me about,
journal
yeah.
entries and all that.
But
Yeah. Got the storage unit, already talked about. Japanese students came to the rec center again. They came last year. This and talking to them, I had a chance to talk to them. Cause I got to go to Japan after high school, so I had a lot of fun with them. And this was the highlight place to come the last time the kids came.
Did the paper come for us on that? And I'm asking because I saw them in Pendleton and I was like, man, I know.
I never saw it. I know,
So
none of our,
if we do it in the future, because they're probably gonna start coming each year again. If they do, my suggestion would be you call the paper, make sure that they come, because I'd rather our photographs go, that's free advertising in the paper.
sure,
Yeah.
They always do whatever outside. Let's make a big deal.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense, like free
Yeah.
advertising. And I read in the Pendleton, I was like, that's cool, but they're about to come here. I knew they were. I was like, well. I'm sure they're gonna enjoy our place more than whatever they were doing.
yeah, I will work better on trying to get our local newspapers more involved.
Yeah.
And my big point is, the managers here, they're awesome. You guys got a good staff. So they've done a phenomenal job this summer. And their staff members have. So, the HR, see lifeguards, front desk, recreation coordinator, recreation coordinator assistant, and an office assistant are the positions we're looking for right now. The worker that was on sick leave, he's back, started again this week, so we're happy about that. And we've already talked about that. Campground, on this, our extended winter stay down. Here's where we're tying in, we're wanting to do some, we're doing some changes. Okay, currently we're paying 600, the campers are paying 600 for the first 15 nights. We're bumping that up to 680. That's the max we can go by law. Okay, at 14%. They get the first 15 nights for that, and the next 15 nights are free. That's how we meet with the rules for Corps of Engineers. Thank you. Because they
Do we
don't,
not have to adopt what, right, Gene?
no, it's not no, that's under us.
There was a clause in the master fee schedule that said that the CEO could increase things over the year, throughout the year, and then at the end of the year, we just
Great.
redo that, so.
Okay. On the extended stay, we're gonna add on a flat rate utility fee. We're the only one around that doesn't do a utility fee. And so 110 for the extended stay. And that's to cover the cost of utilities. Campground. Next year, after talking with Good Sam, he's telling us if we're in the range of 95% or higher capacity, our rates are too low. Okay, and we're at 96%. Okay. And we know, and I know talking, when I was on the board, that was one thing, Karen, we're gonna keep the rates as low as possible for people. And that's important, because I don't want to overprice this or anything like that, but right now it's we want to change where our water view sites are a premium cost. And talking to the Good Sam's people, they're saying definitely that you definitely want that, because that's what you have. That's our big selling point.
Well, right now, everything's the same, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, but.
yeah. So we're going,
And those are the ones that go first.
yes, they
Yeah,
are.
but
That circle is the circle is the number one choice.
That's when you're like, oh, nice.
Okay. So
Perfect.
the price is gonna go up to 68 on those, and the interior sites are 58.
What are we right now?
51.
So what would that increase our revenues if we had the same? Do we have any idea?
I didn't calculate that out. I will for you.
It'd just be nice to know.
Yeah.
From 51 to what?
68 on the outer ones in the circle. And anything it's right directly on the river is that
And the other ones are what?
58.
Oh.
So $10
that's
different.
Good.
Yeah.
That's a good hike, yeah.
So, maintenance wise, Brad, super busy. This doesn't even show what all he did. Rec center, the different chemicals and all the stuff he's done there. Campground, you can see the new water and dryer. The shelving was put into the restrooms. Sewer pump was cleaned up, sites were unclogged. And then the solenoids and the sprinklers fixed throughout, and that's always an ongoing thing.